Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I am finally done with everything that I had going on today. I was looking down at my coffee. I have half a cup of coffee left, and I brought some meditation books with me, obviously, so I'm going to read some meditations for today. I have read some meditations, but not these books. I have a couple books that I save just personally for myself every single day. They're typically more recovery based, and I try to kind of steer a little bit away from that on here because I don't, like, it's hard sometimes with the recovery ones. The dogs are going crazy. They have eaten their dinner. They have ran around outside. They are just like, you are going crazy, aren't you, Boo Radley? They are ready for their dad to come home. He's going to be home in probably, where's your dad? They're gonna be home. He's gonna be home in like 45 minutes, and they're like ready to see him. So anyway, the meditation books that I typically read. Well, so I read Sark, and her books are more directed towards just only women, and it's like creative outlets and coming into your own. And I love her books, but they don't translate really well onto camera because they're like very short. Some of them. They are running. It's just so funny. They've been wrestling all day. And then the other one that I have is like, she has like several books. I love her work. If you've never checked her out, please check her out. Her name is Sark. It's S-A-R-K. And if you've ever seen the poster that they have in classrooms, it's like 101 Ways to Be an Artist. She came up with that poem. And she's a motivational speaker. And she talks about like having like a history of like all kinds of trauma in her past. And she just like is such a colorful person. And I just love everything about her. And I love her books. She has a book about like how to like embrace a creative soul or something like that. So anyway, I read her books, but I also have a journal that I do sometimes with her books, and that doesn't translate well to this channel either. So there's those, and then I also read some very like 24 hours a day books that are just directed to people in recovery, and it's really hard to read those on here and kind of translate them into something that's not recovery for those of you out there that are not specifically in recovery from addiction. Or any kind of addiction. So if that makes sense, you know, and it's also like they're very specific, some of them, to, you know, certain kinds of, you know, like, I don't even know how to explain it. But anyway, but then the four I picked for today, I picked the Nightlight book by Amy Dean, which is for people in recovery, but I love it anyway, so I want it, since it's later in the day, it's 7:47 right now, I thought, 7:47, like the airplane. I thought I would read this one. Do you see Boo Radley? They are such good friends. They're either wrestling or Boo Radley does this all day long. And it's, our vet told us it's like him giving kisses to Tucker. And then like late at night, Tucker like gets real quiet and Boo gets real quiet, and then Tucker goes over and he gives him kisses, don't you? You like to give each other kisses, yeah. It's so cute. I wanted to show this on here. When PB passed away, somebody out there that watches my videos, her name is Jennifer, she sent us two of these quilted blankets, and they're like this big, and she called them comfort blankets. One for Boo and one for Tucker. Well, Boo doesn't really, like, at first he kind of got on them, but he doesn't anymore. But Tucker sits there, and he, with both of them, he works them together, okay? One he, like, lays out, and the other one he, like, makes as a pillow, and that is how he sleeps every night. Do not tell me that dogs do not have souls and dogs do not have personalities. It is so sweet to see him do this. And he, like, he knows this comfort blanket is his. And he has, like, a Grinch that's his favorite toy, and then he has a sock monkey that's his favorite toy, his second favorite toy. And then what's the other one? Oh, Henry the Hippo. He loves Henry the Hippo too. And so we lay those on the blanket, and he just lays on the blanket. It's the sweetest thing. All right. So, which one should we read first today, Tucker? You want to pick? You don't want to pick? He said, I don't want to pick. Oh, let's read the Nightlight one by Amy Dean. I haven't done that in a long time. Okay, it's July 16th today. July 16th. When something does not insist on being noticed, when we aren't grabbed by the collar or struck on the skull by a presence or an event, we take for granted the very things that most deserve our gratitude. Cynthia Ozick. Was today an ordinary day, one filled with the usual events, the same people, the same routine? If nothing unusual or out of the ordinary happened, are we now feeling a little ho-hum about the day's predictable pattern? It's easy to recognize extraordinary events in a day, the ones that break the norm, perhaps add a challenge, or a chuckle, or a bit of chaos. We give those events recognition and tend to belittle the events in an ordinary day. Tonight we can look back over our day and feel gratitude for every minute of it. We can remember our uneventful commute to work, for instance, and feel grateful that we drove in safety. We can recall the people, places, and things now, and be grateful they were a part of our day. tonight I will feel grateful for the good in the ordinary. Oh my God, I love this meditation so much. You know, there was a period, and I will tell you why I stopped doing this, probably about 6 months or so ago, that on my vlog every day, I would say, I just had such an amazing day today. I was peaceful, I was serene, I was content, right? I would say like, it wasn't like a super exciting day, it wasn't anything, but I just was content. Well, what had happened was I had worked so hard in the last 2 years on ridding myself of any kind of like anger or resentment, you know, and really working on waking up every day with like peace and serenity in my heart. You know, that was the time, if you watch my videos, I was talking about how every day I was getting up and I was doing my meditations, my prayers, my gratitude list, which I still do every day. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Do what works, right? And so I would do that stuff, and you know, like I would just like, I wouldn't pick up my phone until I had done all that stuff, and then I would say like, okay, like, are you ready? I would ask myself out loud, are you ready to start your day? And only when I had done that, and I had kind of like mentally checked myself, because I wanted to make sure that I was going forward with my day with like grace in my heart and serenity in my, you know, and serenity and peace in my mind, was I ready to kind of encounter what would ever come my way? Because you never know during the day, right? And like I say, you can start your day over whenever you want. But there are some days that I kind of forget that. Do y'all forget that? Like, okay, I forget to start my day over, you know? I just kind of go forth with anger. But it was really important for me at that time to remember each and every day that I was just peaceful and content, right? Because what a luxury that is, you know? That I was content day in and day out. And I think what had happened, you guys... Isn't that so funny? It's just hours. If they're not wrestling, they're kissing. So anyway, or sleeping. They sleep a lot too. But you know, like, it was really important for me to start noticing on a daily basis, like, and gratitude was kind of the action that got me there. You know, we talk about like being grateful for something or whatever, but gratitude to me is such an action. You know, it's such a like, it's not just about looking at the things that I have. It's about really like the blessing that comes along with it, you know? And it was looking everything from like food to eat, to a house to live in, to a car to drive, to a husband, to family, to people in my life, to just so many things, you know? And, or just to have a great day. And what I realized was those small days, those unobstructed days that really have nothing extraordinary that happens to them, oh my God, those were such a blessing. Like, I loved those days. Like, those days were so fantastic, you know? And of course, I think that many of us live for the highs and the lows, and you know, and that's very much addict behavior. And you know, I grew up always doing that, and what happened was I would set my expectations so high. So like Christmas is a good example of this. I would get so excited for Christmas. You know, the day after Thanksgiving, it was like from that moment until Christmas, it was just like Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. Watching the movies, doing them. I did this till just a couple years ago. I still get excited about Christmas, but I don't set my expectations so high anymore. And then what would happen is, like 3 o'clock on Christmas Day, when all the presents were opened and dinner was done and everybody went home and it was just me and my mom, it was very lonely. It was very sad, you know, when I was growing up. And it was just kind of like this crash and burn, you know, that I felt. Well, it wasn't just like that on Christmas. It's been like that in my life on vacations, you know? Like, my dad has this joking thing that he says. He'll like call me up, like on my last day of vacation, he'll be like, your vac is late, your vac is late. He has this little song he sings. This is like, your vacation is over. And, you know, it's like, I would be like that on vacations too. Like, it would take me forever to get like revved up to go. And then I'm not somebody that really does very well at relaxing until I'm actually sitting on the plane, you know, or in the car. And then I would get there and I would like enjoy it. But then it was like, then the last day would be like, oh, it's the last day. And I'd be so sad. We're never going to come back to this place again. In fact, it's like the book of this memoir that I'm working on right now, that I've been working on for a while, is stories from my life, from my childhood all the way through today. And it's all around this premise that my dad started doing to me when I was younger, and that was saying goodbye to hotel rooms and places that we would say. And we would like actually say, goodbye hotel room, you've been really good to us. And I look back on that, on how like tragic that was, like this closing of my life, you know? Like, there was never gonna be another hotel room that we were ever gonna stay in again. And I kind of have had that mentality. I can remember like, just, you know, even in the last couple of years, like trips with my husband where I'll be laying on the beach that last day and I'm just so down. Like, I can't believe the vacation is over. I'm just kind of sad about the whole thing, you know? One of the things that we try to do now is we try to plan our next trip while we're on our last trip, you know? And we don't like avoid our trip we're on, like we enjoy it, but we kind of talk about where we'd like to go next. And as soon as we get back, we're kind of like planning the next one. We haven't been able to do that this year. But that's been another thing about being content, you know, is like, we really want to go somewhere, but we're very undecided with everything that's going on with the COVID and everything like that. Even though we have a lot of friends and family that are traveling, we're kind of like, we don't really know how we feel about all of it. So we've kind of got like, for our anniversary, we usually always go to Las Vegas. And so we were talking about it today, and I said, we are so blessed. I have like fuzz on my mouth. I was like, we are so blessed to have a house, to, you know, be able to do the things we want to do, go out to dinner. And Alex was like, well, why don't we just go out to dinner the night of our anniversary? And I was like, okay, could you take off a few days and we could just go to the pool and just spend 4 days together? Like, we're in a hotel, but, you know, just we'll come in, you know, we'll have the bed made nice and we'll get some flowers around. We'll have movie nights, you know, we'll watch a movie from our projector out on the back patio. We'll make it fun, you know? And he was like, yeah, I think that would be great. And that's being content with what you have, you know? And for me, it's been such a lesson in my life to learn that, you know? And I always needed more, which this is kind of funny because I just did a shopping haul today on my review channel, which is completely contradictory to what I'm saying, but I haven't shopped in a long time, so we'll just forget that. But, you know, like most of my life, I always needed a better car, a better this, a better that. And in the last couple years, and most of my thing today was like sale stuff. I was so excited I got so much stuff on sale. But my last couple years, you know, I really learned to just be so grateful and so content with what I have, you know, and to really practice the ability of being content and happy with just simplicity and be like, I mean, until I got on YouTube and I started talking about my friendship with Tanya, my best friend, Tanya Jean, until I started talking about that and people would comment and say, like, I wish I had a friendship like that. Like, I have no friends. I've never had a close friend like you have with her. Like, you know, I never really realized, like, I took that friendship for granted. Like, of course, I feel blessed that I have her in my life. I always have, you know? But I never really understood that there are so many people out there that will never have. Like, my husband has a best friend and I have a best friend. Like, I didn't realize there were so many people out there that didn't have that until I started talking about it on videos. And then I felt very, very blessed, you know? And I thought, that's not something that I can take for granted anymore, you know? And like Tanya and I started saying I love you to each other on a regular basis and just really like how much we mean to each other. And because we do, and she does. And I can't imagine my life without her. And you know, I look at my mom's life, and my mom was somebody that didn't have a lot of close friends. She was very, very lonely, and she felt like she was a burden to a lot of people. She would say that if she was sitting right here, she'd say, I don't want to call somebody because I don't want to be a burden. I don't know what they have going on, you know? And so she would wait for people to ask her, and often people didn't ask her, you know? And so she spent a lot of time alone at home, especially in her later years. And I look back on that and it makes me sad, you know? And I know there are many people out there that are watching my videos that don't have a lot of people around them. So, you know, I think it's about looking at the things that you have and being grateful for what you have, not what you don't have. And, you know, oh, Tucker, yeah. And we have a happy little family, don't we? We sure do. Okay, we don't need to show all that. But yes, we have a happy little family and they just ate their dinner. And what are we gonna do now? We're gonna wait for Dad to come home? You guys want to see something so fun? Look at that. Is your daddy coming home? Is he coming home? Boo Riley looked at me. I think that's him. Oh my Lord. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to get off here now. So I love you guys and I will see you tomorrow. Be so grateful for the things you have. You know, I just want to say this one last thing in there. To be grateful for what we have every single day is to truly be rich at heart. It really, really is. And I didn't get that for a long time, you know. Forever I looked at what I didn't have instead of what I did. And when I started looking at what I had, I realized I had more than I would ever need. So anyway, let me know what you think about all of that in the comment section below. I love you guys and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.